to Beautiful Subconscious. I'm Shel Marie. So today's episode, we're diving into the freedom in forgiveness, how letting go liberates your life. Oof, forgiveness, I feel, is so loaded, and it's always such a hard art to practice for so many of us, but it is, number one, the most healing, which, as always, we pull a card before every episode, and before I hit record, I pulled the card just so I'm not fluffing on air, and it was actually, I am my own divine healer. So it was perfectly set up for this episode to explore a little deeper on forgiveness. Maybe there's an area of your life that you need to forgive. Maybe there was a part of your past. Maybe it's yourself. Maybe it's a person. But forgiveness is key. But it is one of the hardest things to practice, and especially for women who set really high standards for themselves. And those high standards are often driven by a part of you that we're not forgiving. So we often hold on to resentment and self-blame because the pain we've experienced was absolutely real. And letting it go can suddenly feel like a loss of control. If we were to explore that pain and let it be felt and expressed, and that can feel more threatening than if we were just to hold on and harbor the pain and choose not to forgive, whether we're choosing that consciously or unconsciously. But forgiveness isn't about approving of the circumstance. It's just about setting yourself free, bottom line. So this episode dives deep into why forgiveness is so challenging and the hidden dynamics of empowerment versus disempowerment. We want to learn letting go of the past and how it clears space for true peace and joy. So why forgiveness feels impossible, and especially for the women, the mamas that I know that I work with so regularly, but also absolutely the high-achieving men as well. The pain was so real. Whatever it was, whenever it happened, it feels really impossible to forgive something that hurt so bad. But if we always with this line of work and in what I truly believe, life happens for us, not to us. So if there was ever a way, and it may take time, this isn't something that is easily accessible for everyone the moment pain happens, because it's so real. It charges every part of you. It charges your deepest vulnerable spaces. It activates wounds. It exposes, reactions. And to access the awareness that everything happens for us. So the pain, even though it's so true and so valid that it was hurtful, it was there for us on some level. But we can get caught up in thinking that if we were to let that go and to really let whatever that experience was, or that person or something that we did go, we're condoning it and we're saying that that's okay. But it truly is about freeing you from that circumstance, whatever that is. And, empowerment and disempowerment is exactly like, is life happening to you or is life happening for you? And people can only hurt us as deep as we allow on some level. And that can be really, really hard to accept, because why would we want to choose someone to hurt us? Which is a brilliant question and a brilliant line of self-inquiry. But often it's not conscious. We're not consciously choosing that. This is stemming from something that's wounded and residing within us that is saying that, hey, I need something here. There's a need that's not being met, a wound that's being exposed. And that can look like whoever hurt us at that time of our lives, we allowed them to hurt us because we were seeking validation, we were seeking security, we were seeking love from an unresolved wound that we know or unbeknowingly have residing within ourselves. And if we had built that for ourselves, then we would have had the ability to be able to choose how deep we're allowing ourselves to be hurt, because we're more in touch with what we will allow in our worth. But often these hurts and these seeking of love, seeking of approval, seeking of presence and security can be from wounds from our caregivers. And if we just meet our caregivers wherever they're at, knowing that on some level they were just doing the best that they could with the tools that they had, even though that we understand that, it's okay to say that our needs weren't met. There were parts of us that were hurt by these people that were supposed to love us and protect us. And when they weren't met, then these unresolved wounds are here, and we then try to seek them more from them or more from other people. And it's just this perpetuating wounded narrative until we address it at its core, which is where it first started. So as kids, when that happens to us, we don't question, we don't have the tools even to question. We just simply we're simply a part of what's going on in that moment, and we just know that it hurt and we absorb that pain, and these pains can shape the way that we believe in ourselves or not believe in ourselves, and those beliefs will then have an effect on the way that we think of ourselves and the way that we react or behave within ourselves, what we will allow and what behaviors we will allow in our world. So if we strip it all the way back, like that sense of our caregivers, and I'm not here to rag out on our caregivers, but often this is when it generally forms. If there's a sense of a feeling of being unworthy of their love or feeling insecure in their presence, and that's been imprinted within us as kids not knowing any better, then that's going to continue to show up until we address it at its root cause. And that's what we're able to do now with the awarenesses that we have. This is the key, right? Like this is the sense of empowerment now. Yes, we can't change what happened in the past. We can't go back and change it on some level, but we can now choose to see that this is happening for us, extract the wisdom, extract the gold, and allow us to grow from these wounds, and we can transform them into wisdom and use that wisdom to really elevate the people that we are, the depth that we have, the compassion that we hold, the self-worth that we embody more, the love that we show ourselves and other people. It doesn't have to be that story of woundedness. We can take it at any moment. That is the choice that we have, and that is always available. We have the choice to be empowered by what happens to us. So yes, bringing it back, like the hurt can only hurt us if we allow it to on some level. And if we allowed it at that time, that's okay. We're not here to not forgive ourselves of that, of not knowing any better than what we now know, but always knowing that we can change how we feel and how we respond and how we remember things in any given moment. We are that powerful. So how unforgiveness shows up in different areas of our lives, like with the work and especially the program, I feel like forgiveness is a real paramount process in and amongst all the work that we do. When you forgive yourself, when you don't forgive yourself, it shows in ways where you're being so hard on yourself. You feel like you're always falling short. You're putting these unrealistic pressures on yourself because there's this ache within of just like, I'm not worthy of that. I've got to keep like reaffirming that I'm worthy by doing the things instead of just coming back to where is it that I feel unworthy and why do I feel that and what does it need in order for me to heal that and integrate that to come back into my true innate state of worth. And it comes back to forgiving. You know, the work, absolutely, we got to look within. We got to find out what's hanging out in our subconscious. We got to feel the emotions. We've got to understand where the beliefs have come from. And then it's got to be a choice of letting it go and forgiving. Just forgiving. So maybe that shows up with you in where you might be blaming yourself for things, where you might be hard on yourself, where you might feel like you're not enough. Ever that's coming through, whether it is the way that you treat your body. You know, I had to forgive myself for all the harsh things I did to my body, the way that I treated her. It was just simply a vessel that I lived in. It wasn't anything that I was connected to. And I was so reckless in my body. I would gain all this weight. I would throw up my food. I would treat her poorly with the substances I would put in her, the drinking that I would do, and just it was such a reckless way that I would treat my body. Hello, lovely listeners. Our Total Life Transformation Program is live. If you feel stuck in your health, career, relationships, or money, this is the chance for a complete revamp. Over 6 months, you'll experience powerful changes that will transform every part of your life. With the guidance of 5 specialists, so yours truly, a kinesiologist, money mentor, functional health practitioner, career advisor, and our relationship coach, we address 4 key life pillars: your health, your career, your money, money and your relationships. One investment shifts you from feeling low-key unfulfilled to fully energized and inspired in every area of your life. Health. If stress, emotional baggage, or unhealthy habits drain you, we will help release what's in your subconscious and create a personalized nutrition and supplement plan to reset your energy and health. Career. If you feel lost or stuck in your career, our kinesiologist and career mentor provide clarity, confidence, and an action plan to move forward with purpose. Money. If scarcity or fear around money keeps you stuck, we heal your financial blueprint. With our money mentor, you will gain practical strategies to confidently manage your finances for life. And relationships. If disconnection in your relationships leave you feeling unseen, we heal emotional wounds, leading to deeper connection, trust, and love. Now it's time to create your extraordinary life. So book your clarity call now for our total life transformation program, because it is live and waiting for you. The way that I love my body now is so profound. And I think I needed to go through that journey of having this tumultuous relationship with myself to then use it as the Alexa of like, no, this, I had to go all the way to the extreme to come back to be like, no, our bodies deserve to be so loved. They deserve to be so cared for. They hold us. They provide us with life. We experience through this body. We breathe through this body. We feel through this body. It's such a beautiful journey. Our bodies are so profound. So I had to forgive myself in the way that I treated my body. But it can go, even in the way that we need to forgive ourselves with our money stories, and the way that, we come down so hard on financial shame, and it can feel so heavy. And if there's a way for you to write and find a process of coming back and writing a letter to the relationship that you had with money and start to forgive yourself for the past choices, it starts to heal that scarcity and that guilt and that shame that was once linked and so heavily tied and interweaved into your money story. And we understand, obviously, forgiveness in relationships, right? So whether it's with a parent, whether it's with an ex, whether it's with a friend, if you're holding on to that resentment, you're allowing them to hold that power, and you're not allowing yourself to really connect in any other relationship. You're just keeping yourself guarded. And that's, for me, the last thing that I want. I want to feel deeply. I want to connect deeply. I love the understanding of someone. I love human behavior first and foremost, but then the way that we can connect and understand one another, I just think that is the meaning of life for me, as well as growing. It can also be like, how we show up in our careers and feeling like we're not doing enough. Like I'm still chasing achievement. I feel like that was my worth, but as much as I achieve, there's still that sense of unfulfillness and emptiness. So it's just that letting go of the need of perfection in your career to understand that external success needs to be connected in within yourself first, and really forgiving yourself from those behaviors that you didn't know better, but being okay now to move forward and letting all of that go. So sometimes we can think that forgiveness is forgiveness is a weakness. Like, this is a myth that if we were to forgive, that is weak. But again, it's not about letting a situation be condoned or letting someone off the hook. It's just about claiming your peace back. It's about choosing what you deserve to live through, and on some level, taking back your power, taking back your control, which ultimately is what we think that we have when we don't forgive, when really that is the opposite that's playing out. Forgiveness isn't also forgetting. It's just the gift that you give yourself. It's about freeing the energy that the resentment drains from you, and you can now apply it to the things that you want. You're no longer sitting in that reactive state. Forgiveness is huge. So how do you start to forgive yourself? What's the process in doing that? Well, first, it's not about gaslighting the pain or gaslighting yourself. It's all okay. It's acknowledging the hurt. You got to face the pain fully. You got to allow yourself to feel it without rushing to move on. Now, this for me was the hardest thing because I used to never like feeling sad. Like I remember with my kinesiology mentor, I used to actively resist and be like, I don't have the patience or the desire to want to feel sad. I would shame the emotion of sadness. Like think of that little character in Inside Out. Like I'd be like, I don't have time for you. I don't want you in my world. It just seems like a waste of time. And that was right underneath the resentment that I had and the anger that I had, which then would come out in the reckless behavior, then the perpetuating cycles of I'm not good enough or I'm not like, I'm getting it wrong or whatever it was. What was I'm sure it was all of those stories, but I think it was just like, no. I think in that moment it was just like, you deserve to be punished on something on the lines of that. Like, isn't that crazy? But they would be the things that you would actively say or consciously say out loud. But on some level, that is what's playing out, like this need for self-punishment because that's what I thought I was worthy of. And so sadness was a really, really hard thing to acknowledge. But when I did, it came out in floods and it was the most vulnerable, exposing, but liberating experience to finally let it up and out. And then the next step into the process is recognizing where you gave your power away. Like where were your unmet needs and what was underneath that? What was beneath the hurt? What were you hoping to receive? For me, like my upbringing was I had a physically absent dad. Like he was working all the time, working overseas. So he physically wasn't around for a lot of my life. But at the same time, I could contact him, call him, fax him whenever I wanted to. And I just felt his emotional connection there. So I felt his emotional connection, but his physical absence. My mum, she wasn't emotionally available. She was only emotionally available as much as she emotionally met herself. But she was more often than not around. Like she was there, she was at home, but we were all living under the one roof, but with these own lives going on that we were so isolated from each other. And so there was a sense of emotional connection as well as physical presence that I was building and compensating for. So I can dare say that my hyper independence stemmed from the physical absence of my dad. Like I've got it. And he kind of cheerleaded that about me too. He's like, yeah, you can do anything, like, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I'm so loving of that. But I'm just like, yeah, rely on me, only rely on me. So this is what I'm unlearning. And then the emotional ability or connection was, that need to really feel all the emotions and know that it was okay to feel them. And then when you do, you just visualize releasing that weight of resentment leaving your body. And honestly, that was a physical thing for me. Like I used to carry so much weight around, and I sweat, that is the body's matter form of holding onto the emotions that are unmet. You're literally trying to armor up and protect yourself. And when you really start this process, you're not longer holding on to that energy where it sticks in your body. Your body is now no longer in that deep state of stress that it can utilize that energy to function, and the systems of the body can communicate and digest your food and extract the nutrients and the minerals so your body can find its optimal state of health. And then there's the practice of self-compassion, which is the forgiving of yourself. So really honoring that you knew what you knew, that situation, whatever you felt that you were beating yourself up about or regretting, on some level, it's helped you. It's what you needed. And you're still a good person. You're still a beautiful soul underneath it all. Give yourself the love and the kindness that you offer to everybody else. And this will be a forever game. This is a journey. This isn't a one-time act. You need to keep rinse and repeating this process because we're going to forever need to show ourselves forgiveness. As we grow, as we still have our humanness, we're not always going to get it right. And I think we can fall into a trap the more that we do this inner work, the more that we should get it right. And when we get it wrong, we're like, damn it, have I learned nothing? And that is still another form of self-punishment and another form of being unforgiving to yourself. So compassion is key. So forgiveness isn't about condoning. It's about releasing. So when you forgive, you're choosing to reclaim your energy, you're clearing out the old wounds, and you're making space for happiness and the peace that's waiting for you. Because in that state of polarities, guys, in that state of dualities, when you hold on to that resentment and you're keeping people at bay, you're also keeping away the hurt, but you're also keeping away the true connection, joy, and happiness. And nobody really wants that. So forgiveness is a radical act of self-respect and self-liberation. So if you're ready to reclaim your freedom and allow yourself that state of forgiveness, then the Total Life Transformation, the 6-month program that we hold, goes deep into releasing old patterns. We heal your self-worth and letting go of emotional blocks. We forgive within our money, the stories that you have in and around your money. We forgive any past hurts within our relationships, including the relationship with ourselves. We forgive maybe playing it small in our career, or maybe not owning what we know is our true purpose, or what we know we want to achieve. And that's okay. That's okay. It can be like a scary thing, and that's okay to feel that way. We forgive ourselves with that. And we also forgive ourselves with our health, the relationship with our body, what we feed our body, what we feed it on a physical, mental, emotional level. We choose to forgive on every level, and then we rebuild. We rebuild with practical, fundamental skills where we're learning where our money goes. We're actively honoring and looking at it because we feel more safe within ourselves to go there and be supported with and not hold any shame around it. So we can block those money leaks, and you'll start to save with what clients are saving so much in paying back their investment of this, which is exactly what we hoped. Same with the relationships, learning how to communicate in ways that's in alignment, and practicing that and having that on a daily basis where you're witnessing where you once would be reactive, you are connecting deeper and holding space and seeing where you may have been, triggered is no longer a thing. Careers, there's so much available that you may not be aware of. And this is what our career advisor will have, as well as our health pillar, which you will get a full body reset through our real intensive assessment protocol, where we'll go through all the levels of where you're at and test your body on the mineral side, how it absorbs, seeing symptoms of your body, so you can get a really in-depth understanding of what your body may be lacking, what it might be not absorbing, and supplementing you and giving you a nutritional guide that supports you. So if you're wanting information on that, absolutely hit us up. We would love to get you on board, put a deposit down and get you started for 2025, because this is what it's about. If you are ready to be on the money by 2025, you don't have to see out this year and be like, oh, look, I kind of didn't meet all the things that I said I want to do. Then choose now. Choose now. We have that choice. So hit us up. The show notes will have the details on how you can sign on up, apply for it, and just have a call. We can have a chat and see how this can support you and especially your goals for 2025. So thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, please pass it on to others who may feel the same, and tag me. Let me know. I would love to understand how you're finding it. And until we meet again, live life liberated.